Hoi hoi folks, good morning, good afternoon and good evening wherever you are in the world. My name's Sean, aka Uncle Frogface, and welcome to today's video. If you're new here, then welcome. If you're not new, then welcome back. I'm actually a little bit apprehensive about today's video. So we are returning to ScrawlrBox. Rattling around. It's that time of the month where we've already done the unboxing, so now we are going to take the supplies and actually do the prompt. So the prompt for this month is Walk on the Wild Side, and I'm apprehensive about this for two reasons, actually three reasons. Firstly, I haven't practiced this at all. I've literally got an idea. I haven't done any sketches or anything. Number two, I'm not really versed in using coloured pencils, and this is a new medium for me, really, especially coloured pencils of this quality. I'm used to, like, you know, Crayola coloured pencils, which I'm sure have a place somewhere, but probably not in most people's artwork. And finally, the topic of today's piece of artwork is something that some people may not be fond of. We're doing something eight-legged today, so any arachnophobes, just pre-warning, big flashing warning lights here, spider incoming. Anyway, I feel like I've got the warnings out of the way, I've set the expectations and the bar really low, but we're just going to crack on, have fun and see how today goes, and please, fingers crossed for me, because I'm really nervous about this one. Without further ado, let's turn the camera around, let's get our supplies ready, and let's get cracking. Okay, so as always, I have my cup of tea over to the side to get me through this one. But these are our supplies that we have. We have the Derwent Fine Art pencils, and these are erasable, hence the eraser. We have a really nice Staedtler sharpener, which is actually a really nice sharpener, and we'll be replacing the one that's currently in my pencil case, which is over here. We have a Unipin fine line fine brush, which I think will be very useful for this picture, actually. And of course we have our prompt, and we have our toned drawing paper, which is our medium for this month. So let's get cracking. Should I take a piece out or should I leave it in here? I think I'm going to leave it in here. I'm just going to move things around a little bit so we're nice and centralised. Brilliant. Right, so as I said, my idea for this piece is a tarantula. So because we haven't got a sketching pencil, but because it's erasable, I think I'm going to go in with the black and just sketch out kind of what I want. So tarantula is basically going to be all of these tones. And I think this will be for our background. I'm picturing a leaf of some kind. So yeah, let's get sketching. And here we are. So this has been sped up 4 times. So if you want to see it in real time, feel free to watch it at 25% speed, but you will hear me talking very slowly. But feel free to mute and watch it real time if you want to. I had some reference up for this. So as you know, if you've been watching this channel for any length of time, reference pictures are a huge part of art, and I think it's something that people often forget to do. So best place, I think, for reference generally, unless it's something very specialist, is Pinterest, because you're always going to find something on there. So I literally typed in red knee tarantula and got lots of different images. The reason I typed in that particular type of tarantula is because growing up I had friends who had pet tarantulas, and the Chilean rose and the Mexican red-kneed and yellow-kneed are the most common ones that people have for pets, are the ones I'm most familiar with. And I love that tarantulas have, as well as their 8 legs and their nice furry bodies and furry legs, they have these little kind of antennae at the front as well, that they bring food into their mouth, it covers their fangs. And, oh, love tarantulas. I think they're amazing creatures. I think most creatures are amazing, but tarantulas are just, I don't know, they have a special place in my heart. Other spiders that I'm not so fond of, golden orb weaver spiders, for instance, not such a fan, particularly going through London Zoo and their walkthrough exhibit of those spiders. Actually terrifying. Like one of those things that I'm like, oh, this actually gives me shivers. Yeah, I can hold a tarantula and I'm absolutely fine, so it's weird, isn't it? I should probably talk about the piece of art that we're doing. So, as you can see, I've done all of my sketching with the black pencil. I haven't rubbed anything out at all because I've been told, and I'm kind of taking this on board whilst I'm doing this. I've been told by friends that use coloured pencils that you just build and you build and you build, and as you build up, it gets smoother and smoother and it blends nicer. And you can do something called burnishing, which is you can light a colour or a colourless blender and go over the top and really blend everything together. I didn't do that on this one. I didn't go so far that everything is massively smooth, and actually it's down to the paper. So it's the only thing in this box that I think could have been improved, is the fact that the paper, the more I pressed down, the more it wanted to buckle and bend. So I was very conscious of that. So I didn't press down really, really hard because I didn't want to ruin the paper, basically. One thing I do like about these pencils, as you just saw there, they are erasable. So the abdomen of the spider I had made a little bit too big. So I just drew my new line where I want it to be and erased it out. But this here is a perfect example of what I mean by the building. So I've got the basic shape in, I've got the base colours in, and now I'm going in and I'm darkening the areas that are going to be in most shadow, and it starts to build and it becomes more and more three-dimensional, more and more realistic and lifelike as it goes. This was so much fun. The background, I knew I wanted to have a kind of leaf, and I put that little cut in at the bottom because I have Monstera leaves at home. I have Monstera plants and they're one of my favourite plants. So the fenestrations, the holes in the leaves, are something that I personally find really appealing to look at. So I just wanted to add a little nod to that in this piece. And it also shows a bit of the craft paper when everything else is coloured in as well. So just building and building with the green. I thought I'd take the chance, whilst I'm just kind of blocking in colours, to talk a little bit about mental health. So I'm doing this voiceover the day after I've completed all this, and I'm editing it all together. So this was done on Sunday the 8th of May, and it's now Monday the 9th of May. So you'll probably see this if you catch videos when they're first released. This will be released today. After I completed this, I actually have gone and done an interview for a podcast. So a good friend of mine, Richard Sefton, has a podcast wherever you get podcasts from, and it's all about mental health. And I've been interviewed on there for my own mental and physical health. It's called State of Mind, if you ever want to look at it. He's interviewed some amazing people on there. Mark Ward, for instance, Edwina Curry, Ian Dale, all these people have been interviewed, and they all tell parts of their stories and how it has affected their mental health and their views on mental health. So I felt very privileged to be able to do that, because whilst I like talking to you guys about it, and I have my video on creativity and disability, there's only so much you can do in a short time here. So I had a good hour and a half just talking about my health and my mental health, which was really, really fun. So I will let you know when that is released. But I just wanted to take the opportunity, because I've not done this for a while, to say, if you are having difficulties with your mental health and you need to reach out to someone and talk, then send me a message. I'm always open to talk about mental health and talk about issues that people are going through. Either send me a message on here, leave a comment down below, message me on Instagram. I never want anyone to feel like they're alone. This whole channel is about the positive power of creativity and how we can help each other. And I just wanted to extend that offer once again to any of you that might need help. So now I've kind of got that out of the way, and hopefully you're all feeling great and you're having an amazing day today. I suppose I should talk about the drawing. So now we've got all of our base colours in, I'm building on top, but I'm building texture. So I'm really impressed with how the white goes on top of the other colours. I'm so used to kind of watercolours and crayons and things like that, where the white just blends in and really doesn't add anything. But here, the white absolutely stands on its own, and I really, really love it. So I'm just going through and adding all of these hairs to the legs and to the body, and I think it really starts to come alive at this point, and I'm really just enjoying the process. By this point, I've just completely zenned out, and I'm just enjoying the process. I'm even getting some of this red in now, which is called raisin, I think. Bizarre name for a red colour, but it's a really nice colour, and it just adds a little bit more to this tarantula. And the more I work on it, the more it starts to come alive, and I'm starting to think about, where's the light coming from in this picture? Where's it going to hit those hairs on the body? Where can I blend together? Where are the shadows going to be? The shadows on this were fun. I think they're not 100% accurate, but that's fine, because I really was just kind of trying to figure it out in my head, and by that point I was just really relaxed. But the fact that I can go over what I've already done, and okay, yeah, I've drawn in all the hairs, but I can still add some more of this black and build up more depth, but it doesn't lose anything of what I've already put down. I'm really enjoying coloured pencils, and I'm really surprised by this, because I think I've got into such a routine of just using acrylics over the years and just using pencils and charcoals that I've shut myself off from other art supplies and new media. And that's one thing that ScrawlrBox does particularly well, is it just shows you other opportunities that are out there and other options and things that I ordinarily would have just walked past in a craft store and think, no, that's not for me. But I'm experimenting and I'm having fun and I'm finding new things that I like, and that's then pushing my artwork into new directions and making me think about things in slightly different ways. So if you haven't got ScrawlrBox but you'd like to give it a try, as always, I'm not affiliated or sponsored, but there is a link down below. You can get a discount off your first box. Any subscriptions that you take up or any boxes that you buy directly support this channel, in that I then get discounts off my next boxes, which means that, you know, I can just continue doing this indefinitely, and I hope to be doing this for a very long time, because I really do enjoy it. So I put in all of the shadows for the spider, and then I'm going in and I'm just blending them in even more so they're not as harsh and they feel more natural. Putting in a bit of a white highlight on the stem and the rim of that fenestration. I want to add a little bit more depth in colour as well as tone, so I'm coming in with this raisin colour and thinking about where are the shadows and can I add a little bit of red into those areas. I come in with a little bit of green as well on a couple of the highlights, but I quickly kind of like, it's not really adding anything. So I come in with the white instead to see if I can make any areas pop. And yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm really happy with it, but I realised that actually there's another supplier that I've yet to use. So I've used the pencils, I've used the eraser, I've used the pencil sharpener as well, but I haven't used the pen. And this was kind of an unknown for me. So in the bit that we did when we unboxed it and I was swatching everything out, I did try the pen over, but I was unsure how it was going to blend in. And actually it blends in beautifully. It's really nice and matte. It doesn't show up as a stark contrast to the pencils that are there, but because of how fine the brush is, it just allowed me to add an extra dimension, extra definition to those hairs on the body of the tarantula, and was just a welcome addition to this box. I would say, apart from the paper, well done ScrawlrBox, and well done for this month's artists who put together the suppliers, because they are really nice. And this Unipin fine brush pen is absolutely going in my pencil case for everyday use. I've really enjoyed using it, and you can get some very fine lines. Last bit to do, and it's just a reflection on all of those eyes in that little section. And we're done. We're finished. Now, I have to say, some of you said in the comments of the last video that if I started using coloured pencils, which I'd never really properly used before, that I would just lose hours, because you kind of build and build and build and build. And honestly, I can see why, and I can also see why some of my friends who do pet portraits with coloured pencils charge the amount they do for the pet portraits, because this does take time. But this was really therapeutic. People say that like colouring in and doing that mindless doodle stuff is really good for them, and I absolutely believe that. Kind of sketching is that for me. But just going over and over and building and building and building, going from a very loose sketch to this in 45 minutes, I could happily work on this for another hour at least, probably more than that. It's also got me very excited because I've got a bunch of Stabilo coloured pencils to review as well. So I'm really going to have fun with those. I'm also really happy with this picture. Like, I'm really happy with this. I think it fits the brief perfectly. And it's, I think, a really nice portrait of a tarantula. Sorry if you are an arachnophobe. And sorry, put my teeth in. Sorry if you are an arachnophobe, but it is just a drawing. There we go. As always, I really hope you've enjoyed today's video, and until next time, goodbye.